1, English. Uh, I will just discuss the answers with you in this session. The first question is language study, which is 1 mark each. The first in that first question was a meaningful sentence you had to form with to run into. Any meaningful sentence will be accepted for 1 mark. That sentence should be a meaningful sentence without any spelling or grammatical error. The second question is forming new words with a given word. I think the word was trajectory and you had to form new words. The condition is that the words that you form should have minimum 4 letters, contain minimum 4 letters. The third question was based on homonyms. So any homonym you can give. I have given an answer here, fair and fair. You could give any homonym, which is correct. The next one was based on spot the error. This is supposed to be a very, very important question as far your activity sheets are concerned. And one spot the error question is always expected. So here, most of the times when you have this kind of a question, please focus your attention towards the verb and subject agreement or the subject and verb agreement so that you get the error. Here the error was have been, and how do you write it? You just do not pick up the error and you write it down, but you write the complete sentence and you underline the error and correct it. The original sentence was the stranger have been very polite. The stranger, the correction was in have, and so this is written like this: the stranger has been very polite and has to be underlined. He would teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. This is the easiest question that appears in your activity sheet because you just have to find out the infinitive. Now, when I say you just have to find out the infinitive, do not just find out the infinitive and write. Write the complete sentence and then underline the infinitives that come in the sentence. Next sentence was based on punctuation. Punctuation also, you have to see simultaneously, there are so many changes to be made. So you have to see that you have made changes simultaneously in all the punctuation marks, whatever required. Okay. Then complete the following chain of adjectives. Now, when you're doing complete the following chain of adjectives, then at that time, bear in mind one thing that you should have already prior to your preparation, you have made the list of adjectives, nouns, and verbs from A to Z. Okay, and then you can have continue with this. Now, with this, let me caution you with one thing: if one word goes wrong, you get a 0 because we are expecting a chain there, word chain. So if one word goes wrong, you get a 0. Now change the following sentence into indirect narration. The answer I'll give you: the stranger asked if I was new to that place. Uh, there are marks, half marks each for 3 changes that you make, but you may get a 0 if you make 2 mistakes here. Okay. Then finally, ninth question: in the end of everyone was happy. Now here I want to again caution you that when you are using the word in the sentence of your own as a noun or as a verb, see that you do not change the word. You have to use the word as it is. You cannot say ending, you cannot say ended, you cannot say ends. Okay. So use the noun or the verb in the same the word as it is given. In the end, everyone was happy. And finally, use an appropriate modal auxiliary to rewrite the sentence. The original sentence was: you are advised to take rest. Instead of advised to, you will remove the word advised to and you will write should. So you should take rest. In the model answer, you can see 2 there, which is wrong. You should take rest because you do not use 2 after modal auxiliaries. Okay. Then let's go to the next question. Question number 2. Read the given passage and do the following activities. This is completely simple factual question based on the passage. The passage that was given was The Alchemy of Nature. And here you can see true or false sentences. In this, again, let me tell you that you have to write the statements first and then you have to mention what is true and what is false. Okay. Just don't write true, false, true, or A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4. No. You have to write complete sentences and you have to then say true or false. Then go to the next one. Activity 2. Find and write the values we learn from different things in nature as follows. There are 4 activities given here, and there are 4 things that you different things that you learn from nature. Water is gentle but without ego. Grass grows wherever it finds an opening, shows there's always hope. Trees become bare but spring back again in shows conviction. An army of ants display teamwork and organization and perseverance. Any two will be accepted. Now, again, let me tell you, alert you here that this question is a complex factual question which will be based on the passage. So do not write anything outside the passage. Okay, you will find the answers from the passage. They will be scattered here and there in the passage. You have to find them, compile them, and write the answer. You can score full 2 marks here in this particular question. Now, when you go to the next question, it is, you can see that it is vocabulary based. Again, the question, read the question carefully. The question given is find words from the passage which mean. That means you have to find the words from the passage. So magnificent has got two words there in the passage: majestic and splendor, huge, colossal, regular, everyday, and belief, conviction. If you have written it correctly, you get full marks. Language study. Language study, the sentence began with however, and you had to begin the sentence with though. So, though the things are difficult right now, it will not remain so forever. When you are transforming sentences, children, you have to remember that when you, after you have transformed the sentence, please check that the original meaning of the given sentence remains the same. That does not change. Okay. Next one was a sentence of change the voice. A tree was seen bare of all leaves in the cold winter months. This is the answer. If you want to score full marks, you have to give these two answers for activity 4, which is grammar based question. And the last question is personal response question. Here I have written accept reasonably correct answer. When I say accept reasonably correct answer, that is for the valuers. But for you children, let me tell you, you have to remember 2-3 points if you want to get 2 out of 2 in a personal response question. The first point is that first you should give the response to the question. Do not just begin the answer with whatever you like. You have to give a proper response. If it is an open-ended question, you have to give a response. Of course, if it is a general question, you may start as you like, but you have to give proper reasons or proper justification. The answer should be somewhere around 40 to 60 words or maybe 8 lines, and the answer should contain a very one-sided convincing justification for your response. You may end the answer with some relevant slogan, proverb, or something that you can highlight, you can underline, and you can get 2 out of 2 if your answer is very good. So this is the personal response question that you have to answer. Question number 3A, this is based on comprehension of a poem. Okay, so here you got the poem where the mind is without fear. The first question is a very common question. You can always expect this question in a poem. Find proof for the given line. It's very simple. You try to find out the words that are given in the original statement. You try to find out those words in the poem, you will get it. Where words come out from the depth of truth and into the heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. This will give you the proof. Then, if you go to the next question is based on the second question. Second activity in the poem is always based on global understanding, central idea, or theme. So the world is broken into pieces. Here, explain the line. Explain the line is also global understanding. How globally you can connect this line to the others. Okay. The world is broken into pieces with the wall of discrimination on the basis of caste, gender, and creed. This may lead to ill feeling for each other, and there will be no peace. Remember, children, that this question carries 2 marks, so please do not write one sentence answer. Try to be interpretative, try to be explanatory, to give an explanatory answer so that you can get full 2 out of 2. Activity 3 is based on poetic devices. Now, what kind of questions can you expect in poetic devices? In poetic devices, you can expect rhyme scheme, rhyming words, and figures of speech. Here, the question was find an example of metaphor from the poem and write it. Any one was expected. There were so many metaphors where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection into the dreary desert sand of dead habits, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. So if you write any one, and what I would suggest is just rather than writing a line, if you can explain it, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where man is continuously making efforts towards perfection. So if you can explain this poem, explain this line, sorry, then definitely you're going to get that 1 mark. Now, B part, question number 3B part is the appreciation of a poem. Appreciation is a different poem. Here, although you got the same poem, but in your activity sheet, you will have 2 different poems, one for comprehension and the other for appreciation. So, what are the points that you should cover in appreciation? Title and poet carries 1 mark. Central idea carries 2 marks. Rhyme scheme carries 1 mark. Figures of speech with example and explanation carries 1 mark. Now, how to write? How to write an appreciation? Include all these points in your appreciation and see that you write your appreciation in one single paragraph. You do not make so, these are points given to be included. You don't have to write in points. You have to write it in a paragraph. Okay. And when you write an appreciation in the paragraph, when you write something about, see, the title of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. It is written by poet Rabindranath Tagore. Say a few lines about Rabindranath Tagore. He was the only Asian to get the first Nobel Prize in 1913 for his contribution in literature. Say at least one line about the poet. Okay. And then write the central idea. Central idea carries 2 marks, so you're expected to give the central idea in about 25 to 30 words, that is 2 to 3 sentences. Then you go to the rhyme scheme. If there is no rhyme scheme, please mention that there is no rhyme scheme, so this is a free verse. Figures of speech with examples, give at least 2-3 figures of speech because the poet has used many figures of speech. So you say like that to make the poem very ornamental, the poet has used figures of speech like metaphor, simile, apostrophe, onomatopoeia, etc. Example of metaphor where Tyrus striving stretches arms towards perfection. One example you can give, and you may explain that. So I think 5 out of 5 you can score in this particular question. Let's go to question number 4 in the paper. In question number 4 in the paper, I had given summary writing. This is a compulsory question now in your activity sheet, and most of the times I find that students are not able to write a very good summary. So please pay attention how to write a good summary. This is a summary that I have given in the answer paper. The passage was of about 100 words, and here it is, you will see about 30 words summary this is. So you have to make it into 30 to 35 or 30 to 40 word summary. The first thing that you should remember in summary, 1 mark contains the headline. Your title should be apt, short, precise. Okay, you have to remember that. Apt title, short title, and to the point title. It shouldn't be a long, it should be a very catchy title. Okay, and title you can get from the passage itself. So 1 mark for title, 1 mark for the word limit that you're using, that is 30 to 40. 1 mark for appropriate key points. You have to take only the important points or the key points from the main passage, and then you have to compile it in your own words, add it in your own words, and then you have to form a summary. The fourth very important point is single paragraph. If you make it into 2-3 paragraphs, you lose formatting marks immediately. Okay, so single paragraph summary. And the fifth point is that vocabulary and grammar. 1 mark is for vocabulary and grammar, where grammatically you should not go wrong. One more point that I would like to add here is that please do not copy line by line or word by word from the given passage, because that results in getting 50% marks that you were supposed to get. So please see that you do not copy line by line from the passage. You just underline the key points in the passage, you compile them in your own words, and then you write. And you write in a short way. 1 paragraph, title must, I think I've told you everything, I repeat. Title must, 1 paragraph, 30 to 40 words, only key points, maybe central idea, and vocabulary and grammar correct. If these points are there, then you can score 5 out of 5 in summary writing also. Then if we go to question number 5, let's go to question number 5. Question number 5 is writing activity, report writing. Here we are going to discuss report writing. Report writing, I have given points. I have not written a report here in the answer because I expect that first language children should be able to write a report by now. So to write a better report, what should you do? The first thing that you should do is read the newspaper. How a report is written. Point number 2, see the tense used in a written report. Point number 3, what pronouns are used in the written report. Point number 4, what is the format of a written report? Okay, so report writing format is given here very clearly: headline, dateline, lead para, detailing, and conclusion. You have to remember this formula: HDLDC, headline, dateline. Here I have mentioned proper dateline. Why proper dateline? Because when I ask children to write dateline, you write it like this: 27-09-2020, which is a wrong way to write, and therefore proper dateline. When you write the headline, I'll go with the headline first. When you write the headline, see that the headline is in simple present tense to make your report very vivid, very remarkable. Okay. So that should be in simple present tense. It's very short and it should be centrally aligned at the center of your notebook or paper, whatever you're using. Just at the center, it should be properly underlined. And then go to the left side. Left side, immediately with the margin, you write the proper date line. When you're writing the proper date line, you have to see that you start with the city first. Name of the city. For example, if you're writing Nagpur, Nagpur you have to write first. You have to put a comma after that, and then you have to write the date September 27, two dots. That is a colon. Okay, or you can write 27 September, because when you're writing a newspaper report, you are not expected to write 2020 there. The newspaper comes every day, so you are not expected to write 2020 there. And if you are writing a byline, there is a byline also. There is a byline also. Byline means whether you're writing by the staff reporter, CNN, PTI, okay? So that comes directly below the proper date line. And after that, you start writing the lead paragraph. When you start writing the lead paragraph, what should be the content of the lead paragraph? You have to ask to yourself 5 to 6 questions about the title, about the headline. If you are writing about COVID, the headline is about COVID, then you are going to write the lead para. What are you writing about? What are the statistics that you are presenting? Okay. And what do you know about the current news about COVID? Is there any vaccine going on? Who are all those people who are involved in doing in for trying to find out the vaccine? So there are so many WH questions in your mind that you are going to answer. And when you answer those, compile those WH questions, answers to those questions together, at that time you get the lead para. And that lead para has to be somewhere around 30 words or say 4 or 5 lines. Okay. After that, you go with the details. After that, every line has to be explained properly. You have to illustrate them, you have to elicit them, and you start detailing. After you have completed with detailing comes the conclusion. The conclusion should be just of 1 line, not more than that. Remember, conclusion to be of only 1 or 1.5 lines, that's all, because it carries only half a mark. But the conclusion has to be absolutely relevant with what you have done till then. Headline, proper dateline, lead para, details, conclusion, it should be relevant to that. So this is the marking scheme. Headline has 1 mark, proper dateline half mark, lead para 1 mark, detailing conclusion, detailing 2 marks, and conclusion half mark. Now, when I say detailing 2 marks, definitely your grammar and vocabulary is going to be checked here for 1 mark. If any word goes wrong once or twice, you lose at 1 mark. If there are grammatical errors in the construction or framing of sentences, because when we are writing a report for the newspaper, the report has to be written in the third form, past and past perfect tense, and you are not expected to use the first and the second person pronoun. So this is the grammatical constructions have to be absolutely precise and exact as required. So in this activity, okay, let me tell you that a few of them get 5 out of 5. Not many get 5. I won't say few, but not many get 5 out of 5, because there are some grammatical errors they're found there, and that is why try to avoid those errors so that you can get full 5 out of 5. So this was a discussion of this particular paper of unit 1 that belonged to unit 1. I hope that you have understood all the ideas behind taking this interaction program and all the concepts behind these putting these questions, because this is how you're going to get in the activity sheet. I just summarize. Question number 1 will be based on language study. All kinds of vocabulary and grammar questions, non-textual, will be given here. But now you can get sentences and words from the textbook as well. Then question number 2 is the scene passage. Scene passage 5 activities based on scene passage. Activity 1 calls for true or false or any kind of simple activity like true or false, match the pairs, complete the following sentences, select the correct alternatives, etc. Activity 2 will be based on complex factual questions. Activity 3 will be a vocabulary question. Activity 4 will be a grammar question. And activity 5 a personal response question. Question number 3A. So we are only talking about 40 marks paper, so I'm not going with a complete pattern. Question number 3A was based in this particular paper was based on poem for comprehension. 3 activities based on the extract of the given poem. Activity 1 based on simple factual. Activity 2 based on global understanding or interpretative, and activity 3 based on poetic devices. Question number 3B always is going to be a question based on appreciation of a second poem. The first poem is for comprehension. The second poem will be for appreciation. Then question number 4 here, I had given summary writing because it's a part of a compulsory question in your activity sheet. I have told you the ways how you can get a very good summary, write a very good summary, follow those methods. Then question number 5 is for report writing. Please remember these 5 words for report writing: HPLDC or HDLDC: headline, proper dateline, lead para, details, conclusion. Please do not write your name anywhere in a report. Name is not expected. I think I am absolutely clear. I am absolutely clear about the answers to the questions that you have got in Unit 1, English First Language. Thank you so much.